Horror Stories in York, Part 29. 21st of July, 1403, Hotspur's Head. Lord Henry Percy was nicknamed Harry Hotspur by the Scots because of the way he was able to quickly defend and attack along the Scottish borders. He was one of those that helped in the deposition of King Richard II in favour of Henry Bolingbroke, who would become King Henry IV. As a reward, King Henry granted Hotspur additional lands. He would also make him the defender of the borders of Wales and Scotland. However, Hotspur was to fall out of favour with the king. Increasingly frustrated at King Henry's inability to keep his promises of additional lands and funds, the Percy family decided they would rebel against the king, and it accumulated in the Battle of Shrewsbury. The king, with his army, met the rebels on the 21st of July, 1403. Hotspur himself charged at the king, but was struck down before he could actually reach him. Some accounts say that it was an unknown assailant that had actually killed him, but the common belief is that Hotspur was struck by an arrow in the face just as he lifted his visor. After his death, there was much confusion on the battlefield as to who had actually won, but the king took the victory for himself despite the fact that he had lost many of his own soldiers in the battle. Hotspur's body was buried, but rumours soon abounded that he wasn't really dead, and so the king decided he would exhume the body. He put it on a spike in the centre of the market square at Shrewsbury, just to prove that he was in fact dead. Now declared a traitor, his body was then beheaded and quartered. Each of his limbs sent to London, Bristol, Chester and Newcastle, whilst his head was brought here to York. It's placed on a spike on Micklegate Bar, one of the entrances into the city that was known as Traitor's Bar. Eventually, his rotten remains were given over to his widow, who would see them buried at York Minster. Though Harry Hotspur has been largely forgotten in history, his name still lives on in a rather remarkable way. In the 19th century, a football club decided they would take his name, in honour of the fact that the land where they made their pitch was actually the land that once belonged to Hotspur himself. This land was Tottenham.